Welcome to our second series in the Winter 2021 Thrive series. We're so excited to have you, and I see a lot of familiar faces and names from folks who joined us last week, and I do see a number of new people as well. So thank you all for being here. So excited to have another wonderful group. I have to say we are completely overwhelmed at the positive response from last week's session. So thank you all so much for participating and attending and sharing your thoughts and feedback. We're so grateful for all of you being here. If this is your first Thrive program with us, well, welcome first of all, and just a little background so you know about the Thrive program. It's a collaboration between mHealth Fairview and the Masonic Cancer Center at the University of Minnesota. And so this is the second in a 6-week series that we're providing this winter. The last session is on Tuesday, March 9th. So you can catch us every Tuesday between now and then at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Tonight's session, if you were here last week, Chef Jeremy cooked a full meal. So tonight's session, we're not making a full dinner. So our session may be a little bit shorter than last week. We're expecting to kind of wrap up our presentation a little bit closer to 6:45, and then we'll have some time for some Q&A. So I do see a question I just want to address that I see in the chat box. So it says, will we receive answers back from last week's questions? Yes. So if you haven't already, I encourage you to go to the Thrive website, and I will share that in the chat box in just a few moments. If you scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, it'll say view the Winter 2021 series. And when you click on that, you can find last week's recording and all those resources. And then by the end of this week, you'll be able to see tonight's recording and all of those resources. So we'll try to get them uploaded by the end of the week that the session was held. So tonight, in just a minute here, we're going to hear from Sylvette Lopez-Ruth, the Community Engagement Coordinator at the Masonic Cancer Center at the University of Minnesota. And Sylvette's role is to work with the community to provide education on cancer awareness and prevention. And one of the most popular programs is the Cancer Fighting Foods program. So she's going to guide us through some nutrition recommendations, but also research information from scientists at the Masonic Cancer Center and how research and nutrition kind of intersect. So Sylvette's also going to go over a recipe tonight. You can find that recipe anytime online, and she'll cover that towards the end of her presentation today. So I am going to pass it over to Sylvette.
Hello, my name is Sylvette Lopez-Ruth from the Masonic Cancer Center Community Outreach and Engagement Team. Welcome to tonight's Thrive series on cancer fighting foods. I will turn off my camera off for the presentation in order for you to see my slides better. Thank you. Who are we? We are the Masonic Cancer Center. We are research and we are education. We are here to serve all Minnesotans by providing cancer education and resources. The Masonic Cancer Center is designated as a comprehensive cancer center by the National Cancer Institute, meaning we are among the top 3% of cancer research facility in the country. MCC does research on different cancer stages: prevention, treatment, and survivorship. Study how the cells work and why they cause cancer, risks like tobacco and vaping, different ways to treat cancer, disease-specific research, and of course, nutritional research, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about today. I want to show you a clip about cancer fighting foods. Okay, hold on.
There is a team of sneaky supervillains in our midst, and they call themselves cancer. In the United States, about 40% of men and women will develop some type of cancer during their lifetime. threat? Researchers from all over the world think they've discovered weapons against cancer hiding in plain sight on your dinner plate. That's right! It turns out that vegetables are super-powered cancer fighters! Once inside your body, vegetables, actually, micronutrients and complex natural compounds, get to work fighting off anything that looks like cancer, keeping all of your cells happy and working properly. Researchers have even discovered that some vegetables are better at attacking specific forms of cancer. In order to resist one of the most despicable villains, lung cancer, we can call in Team Cruciferous, better known as Brussels sprout and her big brother cabbage. These powerful green machines and their cool chemical compounds can help make sure lung cancer never even thinks about causing trouble. So be sure to add plenty of vegetables to your diet to help defend your body from cancer. But remember, vegetables are only one way to protect yourself. For more ideas on how to further your chances at prevention, visit cancer.umn.edu.
This is a snapshot from TPT Partnerships, telling local stories that inspire and educate. To see more stories like this, go to tptoriginals.org, a co-production of Twin Cities PBS and the Masonic Cancer Center, University of Minnesota, creating a collaborative research environment, applying knowledge, and sharing its discoveries.
Whether you're in treatment or a survivor or a family member eating healthy food, it's an essential part to all diets. You should talk to your doctor about how specific treatments and medications may factor into your diet and needs. But the information we'll go over today is general nutrition guidelines. Cancer fighting foods. What is the role of fruits and vegetables? Cancer fighting foods and your health. As we talk about cancer fighting foods, we are talking about the importance of eating healthy, physical activity, and disease. One of the things that we talk about when we talk about foods is about the obesity-related conditions. Certain type of cancers, heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes. These are diseases that are related to what we eat, and this is why we talk about these cancer-fighting foods. The causes of obesity and overweight. Well, sedentary lifestyle, diet rich in calories or fat, food and activity, environment, genetics. They say, the CDC, the prevalence of obesity increased from 30.5% to 42.4% by 2018, and this was reported by CDC. What are our typical foods? So our typical foods are vegetables, fruits, the protein, grains, dairy products, oils, fat, sugar and salt, and empty calories. This is what we eat on a regular basis. This is a combination of what we eat every day. These are general elements to a healthy diet, which I think most of us know about. The newer version of Food Pyramid helps us better understand what to prioritize. The stuff at the bottom: exercise, vegetables and fruits, healthy fats and oils, whole grains. The stuff we should eat less of daily: nuts, seeds, beans, tofu, fish, poultry, and eggs. And the stuff we should limit daily: dairy, red meats, refined grains, sugary drinks, sweets, and salt. So one of the things to avoid, and we were talking about obesity, are the empty calories. These are food that contain solid fat or added sugar, food that do not have nutrition value. And there's pizza, ice cream, some of the things that you see on the screen. But you know, some of these things, it doesn't mean that you don't eat them every once in a while. You can have them every once in a while. It's just you shouldn't have them on an everyday basis. These are some of the nutritional or the labels that have the nutritional information and nutrition facts. So this is an example here of food labels, like baked potato versus potato chips, French fries, and mashed potato. This is a good example of what the nutritional fact is between the baked potato and the potato chips. You can see, and you can take a look at the calories, right? We all take a look at the calories, but we also have to take a look at the serving size, which is really important. So if you look at the serving size in the small baked potato, it's 5 ounces. So 5 ounces, it's 130 calories. And if you see the potato chips, it's the serving size is 2.5 ounces, it's 380 calories. So when you go to the French fries, you can see that 5 ounces and per serving size is 430 calories. So this is the difference, and so on and so forth. Mashed potatoes, of course, have the least, but it also depends what you put, you know, in the mashed potatoes. Researchers at the Masonic Cancer Center have linked cruciferous vegetables to decrease cancer development. So what is cruciferous vegetables? Basically, they are cancer fighters. Watercress is a vegetable that has shown greater cancer fighting properties, and its chemicals called glucosinolates that are thought to fight cancer cells. Watercress is a vegetable that has shown great cancer fighters property in its chemicals called glucosinolates that are thought to fight cancer cells. Watercress research has shown a low risk of tobacco-related lung cancer especially. In addition to watercress, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, and broccoli are all great examples of cruciferous vegetables. We'll talk more about getting in enough fruits and vegetables in a minute, but now I want to talk about meat. Dr. Robert Tureski is one of the MCC researchers doing work around nutrition. He studies the chemical impact of different foods and environmental factors. One area that Dr. Tureski has studied is meat consumption. His work has linked processed red, charred, or blackened meats to a higher cancer risk due to chemical changes in processing, cooking, and digestion, which can damage our DNA. And as we know, damaged DNA can lead to cancer. I want to show you a clip of Dr. Tureski presenting some information on his research from last year's mini medical school. You can actually take a free online course of various cancer topics from the mini medical school. We'll share that link with you later. First, he'll explain carcinogens, then talk about chemicals in food that may be harmful to us and what we should know about consuming meat. Okay, hold on.
That diet or environment contribute to cancer risk. So first of all, what are carcinogens? Carcinogens, again, they generally cause effects after repeated long duration exposures. And again, the amount of the dose and the duration is very important. If you have low doses, they're very unlikely to develop cancer or related diseases. At least the risk will be much, much lower. Carcinogens, they can increase the risk of cancer by changing the metabolism in our cells by various methods, endpoints, inducing oxidative stress and oxidative damage, free radicals, which you probably all have heard about, which are deleterious to the cells. They can also latch onto the cells to form what we call DNA addicts, and I'll go into that in detail in a moment. And should tell you that, again, there are compounds hazardous compounds aren't only in the environment, they're also in our body. If we have inflammation, we generate reactive oxygen species and free radicals, which can damage DNA and also can contribute to the cancer process. Again, we're exposed to a wide range of potentially hazardous chemicals in processed meat, grilled meats, air pollution, car exhaust, pesticides, the plastics that are used to have stored bottled water or foods or packaging material. Also can have cancer-causing agents or chemicals that promote cancer. And unfortunately, one of my favorite beverages, alcohol, it's a no-no. Too much of a good thing is it's not good for you either, okay? And so we can measure these things in these different types of products, but you really want to know what's getting absorbed in the body. For example, measuring some of these compounds in the metabolites in urine or blood. Some of them get accumulated in hair. You can measure damage, for instance, in saliva for things that cause mouth or esophageal cancer. Some of these chemicals accumulate in our fingernails as well. And certainly breast milk has been intensely studied. And ultimately, what we'd really like to do is look at biopsy specimens of the target organ to see if we can find actual chemicals that damage the genome. Meat consumption in colorectal cancer. Again, the IARC monographs had indicated or classified processed red meat as being carcinogenic to humans. A group 1 carcinogen, meaning there's unequivocal evidence that it's cancer-causing agent. The concern or the dilemma or the controversy is we don't really know what the dose is that you really need to have and eat chronically to have elevated risks. It's a little bit controversial. And then red meat is probably carcinogenic to humans. It means it's just one class lower. It means there's a lot of mechanistic data, but it's just not quite as consistent as the data for processed meat. Red meat is also associated with prostate and pancreatic cancers. So first of all, let's make sure we understand what red and processed meat are. Okay, so red meat is muscle meat, like beef, veal, pork, lamb, horse or goat meat, which is eaten in many parts of the world. And processed meats be things like bacon, hot dogs, sausages, bologna, and both are potential health risks. And so how you cook your food, it's very important for risk. So for instance, another take-home message, all right? If you didn't follow any of this, just remember this. Don't burn your meat, all right? You burn your meat, it's almost, I don't want to say it's the same as burning a cigarette, but you're burning proteins, carbohydrates, and you're creating some nasty chemicals. So just don't eat your meat like this. Don't eat your crispy burnt bacon like that, even if you like how it tastes, or limit it, because that's where the highest levels of carcinogens are produced. It's much safer to cook your meat, making sure you kill all the bacteria, of course, to have it medium, okay? And certainly, I mean, I must confide, I love my barbecue chickens too and blackened meat, but I don't eat it every day. Right? Just have a well-balanced diet.
So how can we eat meat more safely? Dr. Tureski recommends avoid the smoke from grilling as it contains carcinogens. Use gloves when touching charred residues from cooking surfaces and utensils. So for example, when you clean your grill, don't overcook meat and avoid eating well done or charred meat. Flip your meat often when cooking and use marinades to minimize the charring, which contains carcinogens. Next, how do we combat cancer through food? So example of cancer fighting foods, and this is what we're going to be talking about, is vegetables and fruits. The 5-a-day program, we call it, is that making your fruits and vegetables very colorful. So that makes it really enticing. It can help reduce the risk of some of the types of cancer and other diseases. healthy nutrition. The objective of cancer fighting foods is to, get the health benefits of the daily consumption. If you have 5 servings of fruits and vegetables, to improve your eating habits, it also to increase the consumption of fruit and vegetables to reach a recommended level for everyone. So let me tell you a little bit about, fruit and vegetables and why are they called cancer fighters? Well, they're called cancer fighters because they contain certain nutrients called phytochemicals. So these phytochemicals can act as antioxidants. They stimulate detoxification enzymes. They positively affect hormones. They act as antibacterial, antiviral agents and stimulate the immune system. And why is this? Because let's say, the stimulate the immune system. If you have oranges, all these citrus fruits, they contribute to, to these effects. So this is why we're talking about the cancer fighters in the fruit and vegetables. Well, I talked about phytochemicals and we want to know what that word means. So phytochemicals are organic compounds that produced by plants. And this is only produced by the plant. So phyto means plant. So chemicals is the organic compound that these plants, produce. So these compounds are found in fruits and vegetable, grains and beans, and other plants. This is why they are so important. So we're thinking about, oh my gosh, we have to add all these fruit and vegetables now to our plate, So really, it doesn't take that much to add, a little bit more fruit and vegetables to your daily consumption. So, for example, drinking fruit or vegetable juice in a smoothie or both. You can add both and make a smoothie. So that's adding fruit and vegetables to your daily consumption. Have a vegetable soup or garden salad, with low fat dressing. Another way is stock up on dry and frozen fruits and vegetables, the fruits and vegetables in a bowl, making them more visible. You set them in a bowl. So, if you look at them, you see them, you're more likely to grab a fruit or a vegetable to eat. And the other way to add would be like if you buy the frozen vegetables in the supermarket, then you can put them in the microwave, and those are as good as any other. Most of the time, or I say, when the crops are ready and they freeze the the vegetables and the fruits, they're very fresh. So they go from the garden from the crop into the freezing when they freeze them. So they're very fresh. So this way of eating your fruit and vegetables is one of the freshest. So if you have a garden during the summer and you have a lot of it, a lot of peppers or a lot of tomatoes or anything or fruits, you can freeze them and have them during the winter season. So we talk about, you need to add more fruit and vegetables. So this is an example of a serving size. So when you think about it and you think about the size of a cup, just a measuring cup. So a medium-sized fruit is plenty. 3/4 cup or 6 ounces of fruit or vegetable juice is a very small amount when you think about it. Nowadays, they serve a big glass of juice. You don't need that much. 1/2 cup of cooked or frozen fruit or vegetables, that serves as another serving, So here are the measurements, and you can see that they're not that much when you think about, a measuring cup and what you need to consume during the day. So, one of the things that we found out is that analysis of thousands of studies indicate that the rate of cancer could be reduced by more than 20% if people increase their consumption of fruit and vegetables at a minimum of 5 servings a day. So looking back at, or thinking about that measuring cup, when you think about it, you can have all of it in a smoothie. You can have it in the morning, you can have it for lunch or as a snack in between. So benefits of 5 a day may also help you enjoy your, just good health in general. Of course, it's going to improve your self-esteem. It, causes weight loss, so that would be good for a lot of people, and you're not even thinking about it. Of course, it's going to improve your health because you're not eating a lot of empty calories. And if also, might protect you from diseases. That's why we talked about, like I talked earlier about the orange juice that has vitamin C. So a lot of the things that we consume in fruit and vegetables have a lot of these vitamins that help your immune system at the same time as reducing the risks of cancers. So I want you to recognize that not a single fruit or vegetable reduces the cancer risks. Rather, eating 3 servings or more of a variety of fruit and vegetable helps lessen these risks. And another thing is that you cannot find a pill or supplement to have the same effect or to lessen this risks, because the fruit and vegetables have to be like in the natural state. They're the ones that provide the phytochemicals. So you cannot go to the GNC and say, oh, I'm going to buy this vitamin or this supplement because it's going to provide that. No, you should have them in in their state. So that would be what it helps lessen the risks of cancer. So the small changes that you can make, enjoy your meal, but eat a little less, eat lots of fruit and vegetables. That's great. That always helps. Change milk, vitamin D to low fat or 1%, not low fat, 1% or skim. Compare the food labels, the nutritional values. Take a look at the sodium, lower. Try to have lower sodium. A lot of sodium it's in soups and bread and frozen foods. You don't think about it, but you can read the label and find out what those are, and choose those lower percentages. Drink water instead of sugary drinks. They contain a lot of sugar. And be active. And you don't have to be in the gym every single day. So healthy living and healthy eating, or eating healthy, leads to a better health. It could reduce a lot of the risks, that we have, with chronic illnesses. So tips for eating healthy: limit yourself eating outside, even though now we cannot go out much to eat, but it's better to cook at home. It's more economical. Make your own recipes with fewer calories. You can choose, if you go out, you can choose healthy options, in the restaurants. And the other thing is that the restaurants' meals have large proportions, so you can share. You can take half to go home. So just think about, even eating healthy overall and choosing the healthiest meals. So the realistics and, healthy goals are, 2 or 3 small changes at a time. I mean, if you drink Coca-Cola every single day, maybe you want to cut one, and the following week you might cut another one. So that's just an example of cutting things. Maybe you want to, instead of a Coca-Cola, drink a glass of water instead, and then start making those small changes. And maybe adding 1 bowl of fruit or vegetables, a day, and cutting something. that's how, those habits can be changed. So one of the things is when the change becomes a habit, then you can reward yourself with maybe one of those empty calories. So when you're thinking about being healthy, I want, think about including your whole family. Those changes can also be made to the entire family, not only to yourself. So we recommend, staying physically active for at least 30 minutes. This is for the adults, and children and adolescents should be physically active for at least 60 minutes each day. One way you can include the family and find health benefits is by gardening and growing your own cancer fighting foods. There are a lot of benefits to gardening, not just growing food. Benefits include fresh produce to help you eat straight from the garden. This can also reduce peptides and chemicals on your food. You save money because you only have to buy the seeds, which are inexpensive. Many plants are perennials, meaning that they come back year after year. This includes asparagus, broccoli, sweet potatoes, strawberries, and raspberries. Gardening is a proven mood booster and decreases cortisol, also known as the stress hormone. Less cortisol is also linked to better memory and higher self-esteem. Gardening is a great way to exercise, which can also reduce the risk of heart attack and stroke. Being outside exposes you to vitamin D, which keeps your bones strong and your immune system healthy. Just remember to wear sunscreen. Plus, it's something you can do with your family. We have a brochure all about creating Cancer Fighters Garden at home. We will share this brochure with you so you can look at it more later and start planning for your garden this spring. Before we wrap it up, I want to revisit a clip from Dr. Tureski, who will share some of the take-home messages.
Okay, so I don't want you to be scared. I mean, we do, not everything we eat and drink is going to kill us. And there are also many beneficial things, anti-carcinogenic compounds in our diet and in our environments, including red wine, which I like very much, that can protect against some of these nasty chemicals. So really, the take-home message is to have a well-balanced diet, don't smoke. So again, diet contains many essential nutrients for health. I have a couple glasses of red wine a night. That's my vice. I don't smoke. But we all make choices in our life of how we want to live it. The American Institute of Cancer Research recommends there's no more than 18 ounces of red meat per week. I still don't even know what 18 ounces is, but that comes out to about 3/4 pounders a week, okay? Big Macs. Again, the methods of how you cook your food can produce different levels of carcinogens. Don't burn your meat. Use common sense, eat a varied diet. Don't eat bacon every single day. I still like bacon. I'll have it for brunch on a Sunday, but I won't eat it every single day of the week. There are no magic bullets. We can minimize exposures to chemicals in the diet, environment, but enjoying life and enjoying eating, it's one of the great pleasures in life. Just, common sense. And again, let me emphasize, don't smoke.
So remember, the choices of food and physical activity each day affect your health, how you feel today, tomorrow, and in the future. And up for a change that, can make today and enjoy a better health in the future. We will send you an email tonight with a cancer fighter recipe that I encourage you to try. It is a black bean salad or salsa that covers many of the food groups we should eat and includes lots of cancer fighter ingredients.
And today I'm going to talk about cancer fighters, but I have a good recipe here that is a black bean and corn salad. I have the ingredients here. We use sweet corn, we use bell peppers. We can use the red ones, the orange ones, the yellow ones, just to give it color. And we have black beans with us. Also, we have onions, and we also have cilantro. So pretty much what we're gonna do is we're gonna mix all our ingredients together. But first, we start with the onions. The onions, you want to cut them in little squares, very small, even smaller than what I have right here. I have a little bit of garlic here. We can add to the peppers, the tomatoes. I have them in different colors because that's how I like them, just to make it nice and colorful. So when you cut all the peppers, the bell peppers, I cut orange ones, I cut red ones, I cut yellow ones just to give it that color. I cut some of the tomato and added to that as well. Here's the onion, and I'm gonna add onion to it also. So, with that said, we have a little bit of garlic to give it a little bit of zest as well. And I'm gonna add that. You don't have to do it. This is a big clove, but you don't have to use the the whole thing if you don't want to. I also have jalapeno pepper, and for those people that like it, like spicy, to give it that little kick, that step up, then you can use that. So it's to your preferences. So you put a little bit of that because I like it with a little bit of a kick. So we're gonna do that. And I have already the cilantro already cut. It's probably about a cup or half a cup, whichever you prefer. So I'm gonna add that to our bowl with the pepper, the tomatoes, the onions, the garlic. I'm gonna add this cilantro to it. As you can see, it's very healthy and very fresh. The other thing I use, and you can add, is the avocado. I already cut some pieces here. It's really mushy, but if you wanna, it's to your taste also. If you wanna cut it smaller, you do so. So we're gonna add that to our bowl, like that, like so. Okay, and again, you can use the whole avocado or half of avocado. So now that we have all that, I'm gonna mix it a little bit. I might add some more avocado just because I like it as well. So I'm gonna cut a little bit more avocado here. This is how I cut it. You gotta be careful with the knife. I already cut myself. So I had a little spoon here to pull out the avocado, but I can't find it right now. So let's do it very carefully like that to bring it out. Very careful. It's kind of mushy because it's very ripe. Let's do that. Okay. And again, I'm gonna mix it all up. The cilantro, you might want a little bit more cilantro if you would like. So now I'm gonna put everything in a big bowl. So I'm gonna pour all the little pieces of everything, the fresh avocado, the fresh bell pepper, fresh onion, everything is fresh from the market this morning. I'm gonna add the corn. This is sweet corn. We're gonna add it to it. So since I'm not doing the whole big batch, I'm just doing just a little bit. This is all I'm gonna add. And that's, preference. If you have a lot of people, then you go ahead and make more. So here I'm gonna add the beans, the same thing. Since I'm making a smaller batch, I'm not gonna use all of them. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna mix it all together. Here we go. It makes it a really pretty dish, healthy dish, fresh dish. Now, since we're talking about cancer-fighting foods, we have to think about eating more fruits and vegetables because this lowers the risks of cancer. So when we eat more fruit and vegetables, that is more healthy for you. That covers all chronic illnesses. When you talk about diabetes, when you talk about heart disease, when you talk about cancer, this is very important. So it's not only help for cancer to lower the risk of cancer, but other chronic diseases. So this is what it looks like. And now we're gonna add the sauce, and the sauce it's lime. So this is what I do to get it really nice and juicy so we can get some juice out of it. I am gonna cut the lime in half, and I'm gonna squeeze the lime in the dish. This is our sauce right here. Oh, this lime is really juicy. So now we're gonna move it all around, and this is it right here. Now we're gonna add pepper to taste. You know, some people like, you can put other seasonings if you would like. I'm just adding pepper, and definitely salt to taste as well. Let me see here. Let me get a little bit of salt here. There we go. And I'm gonna add a little bit of paprika, because I've heard some of the ladies that I work, that I have the programs with, are from different cultures, different places. They add different seasonings to it. So I added that. So this is our fresh black bean and corn salad. And also it can be served. I'm gonna get another bowl. It can be served with pita chips, or it can be served with tortilla chips. So here's a bowl, and we're gonna try it. Yes, it is a salad. You can have it however you want to. Here's the pita chips that I like to use to taste. And then we're gonna get a little plate here, and we're gonna add a little bit here. We're gonna put a little bit here. We're gonna have a few of these, and we're gonna try it, and let's see the taste. It's so good, so fresh, so healthy. And remember, eat more fruit and vegetables to lower the risks of cancer and other chronic illnesses. And thank you for having me and preparing this recipe for you. Thank you.
You were probably sent the recipe for this already, but you can find it on the Thrive Series website also. Thank you very much. And do you have any questions for me?
All right. Well, that was, I don't know about you guys, I'm watching in the chat. Somebody says my mouth is watering. So is mine. And I have to say, you know, I love all of the conversation that's happening over in the chat box. Thank you guys so much for that. And thank you, Sylvette, so much for your time and sharing all of this excellent information with us. Before we dive into Q&A, I want to just take a minute to go over just a couple quick housekeeping items. And in fact, while I'm thinking about it, I want to remind everyone that the Cancer Survivorship Conference is coming up in April. It's Saturday, April 17th, from I think it's like 8:30 to 12:30. And that will include a session with Dr. Naomi Fujioka. She's one of the researchers at the Masonic Cancer Center who does a lot of work on nutrition. And so her session will talk about nutrition and chemo prevention. So her work actually helped us frame up that Cancer Fighting Foods program. So you can kind of go straight to the source on that one if you're free on April 17th. I will put it in the chat box, but it's a free event. We'd love to have you come hang out with us. So, and don't forget that recipe, you can also find it on the Thrive Series website. So that you can make that recipe. And I see there's some conversation in the chat talking about how you can eat that if you don't want to eat it with chips. I know I like to buy chips with no salt added if sodium is a problem. I just personally don't like things too salty. So that's an option for you. I love the conversation about using lettuce leaves or a burrito tortilla as a replacement. I also will add, I like to eat it as a salad. So just mixing in some lettuce and some kale all chopped up in there. You can even add like chicken or shrimp, whatever kind of protein if beans aren't doing it all for you. So thank you all for that awesome conversation. So, okay, Sylvette, I think we are ready for some Q&A. All right, so Sylvette, we had a bunch of questions come in before the session. As people were registering, they added a lot of really great questions. And then I've seen a number of great questions coming in live. So I've been jotting those down. Just because we've been talking about the black bean salad or salsa recipe that we just saw you make. Can you tell us, I'm seeing some questions, how long does this keep in the fridge? What is your experience with that?
I think good evening, everybody, and thank you for having me tonight. And sorry for the technical difficulties. There's always something with the computers and stuff. But anyways, I think it only, I would say a day, no more than that, because it gets soggy with the lime, it gets soupy. So it's all fresh. So it's made to eat, right away. Or you can put it in a little baggie in the freezer, but the same thing, when it gets thawed, it gets wet. So, but it's good with everything. I saw someone that said, put it over brown rice. Again, you can add meat to it. You can add chicken to it if you would like. I've made that recipe with barley as well. I've added barley to it, and it makes like a hearty bowl. So it tastes pretty good.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds delicious.
It's all fresh ingredients. Yes.
Yeah. Well, and I know, if I'm just making lunch for myself, maybe I would make a small portion just for lunch today. And then if I want to have something again, this weekend, I would make up a fresh batch then. Does that sound right? Is that what you would do, Sylvette?
Yep, I would do. Unless you have the family over, and then you can make the big bowl. And if you have more family, then you can double that, the recipe. It's good for, get-togethers and things. And I know with COVID, we cannot do that, but we can fix it for ourselves.
Awesome. Perfect. So one thing that was so interesting that I really love about the Cancer Fighting Foods program is the cruciferous vegetables. And I know that you talked in the presentation about cruciferous vegetables. Somebody had asked, what are some other examples of cruciferous vegetables? And then in the chat, somebody asked, isn't cauliflower a cruciferous vegetable? Can you answer those questions?
Well, I thought, to me, the cauliflower for sure was a cruciferous vegetables. It falls in the family of the Brussels sprouts, the broccoli, the Brussels sprouts, broccoli, water chestnuts. I mean, the water chestnut is totally different than the other ones, but it's still, it's still a cruciferous vegetables. So, I mean, there's a variety. If you receive the book, or I don't know if Lisa put the cancer fighting brochure. Did you put that on the line?
Yes. Yes. Oh, and I will put those links in the chat box. Oh, great. Thank you.
That right here, I have it right here. You won't be able to read it, of course, but you see the colors. It tells you every single by color of fruits and vegetables what each one of them have. And this is even including garlic. So it tells you what the phytochemicals contain on each one of these colorful, they could be, on the purple vegetables and fruits, or, the greens or the bananas. You can see there the reds. It's all divided by by the colors. So this is a really good literature, to have in a guide. This is what it looks like.
And Sylvette, I see that one. It looks like it was in Spanish. Do we have multiple languages?
It is. We have it in multiple languages for our community.
Perfect.
The community here is in the metro.
Excellent. So yes, I see a question in the chat asking, can we get a printout of that guide? Yes, you can. In fact, I just sent you the links to where you can find it, and I will make sure that it's easily accessible. I'll make sure that it's in that email that will get sent out in a couple of minutes here. So yes, you will have access to that. And that one, Sylvette, what do you recommend? Is that a good one to throw like on the fridge, or how do you recommend people use
Oh,
that one?
absolutely. I mean, even, you know, just look at it, and even for the grocery store, because it gives you a guide of what to get, like, you know, the blueberries, you know, the blueberries or even the eggplants, they fall under the same. They're the purple vegetable, purple fruits. So yeah, this is something that I'm like, you know, if I want to maintain that lifestyle, because it is a lifestyle, those little changes happen little by little. They're not going to happen from one day to another. So you can say, okay, this week I'm going to go, you know, I'm going to go for eggplant, something that not everybody eats, but you can find a recipe and, you know, learn how to make it. And it's all about your palate, you know, because you might like it or fix it in different ways. So I like it a lot. I love eggplant. You know, and the blueberries you can throw in everything, in your you know, your cup of fruit, in your oatmeal, in your smoothies. So, and there's same thing with spinach. You can put them in your smoothie as well with your, you know, combination with your fruits.
Thanks, Sylvette. Yeah, that's a great idea. And that reminds me of this other question that we had. It said, you know, what do you think, smoothies or apple juice? I think juice has a lot more sugar. And there was a little bit of this conversation happening in the chat box. I feel like smoothies, you mentioned, you can put so many different fruits into a smoothie. So, I mean, I feel like if I'm looking to get the benefits, maybe I'd want to have a smoothie and maybe throw a little bit of that juice in there to keep it, you know, liquid. But what do you think?
Well, and that's it. If you have a little bit of apple juice or any, you know, any juice, but apple juice is clear, you know, it doesn't have the pulp or anything. You can add spinach, you can add kale, you can add a little bit of apple juice and then a banana or, you know, or another fruit, and it will taste totally different than, you know, than having like kale and lettuce and spinach all in one. Just if you add a little bit of the juice, apple juice, it changes the taste right away. So it's just adding a, you know, medium-sized fruit, a couple of, you know, things, a bunch of spinach juice. They're great, and you can have all of it in one sitting.
Yeah, and that's a lot of servings. Like that's probably, if you have a big smoothie, that's probably your 5 servings right there, right?
Yeah, and you know, you can have your, you know, your fruits frozen, you know, like now in the winter, we don't have all those other fruits that we have in the summer. So you can buy it frozen and add it to the smoothies, the fruits you like.
Yeah, that's another question I was going to ask you. When it is nice weather, you talked about gardening. Can you tell us like what is something good to grow in Minnesota? You know, I'm not a gardener. I don't have a green thumb. Like, where do I start?
Oh my God. You know, I'm not a gardener either, but because of COVID, I started doing that. And I had tomatoes, a lot of tomatoes. So I didn't want to throw them away. So what I did is I cooked them, you know, and I know that you can make your jars. I don't know how you call those. You pack them, but what I did, since I don't have that science packed down, I just cooked them and make them like sauce and put them in the freezer, and I use them now in the winter time. You know, I have basil. It grew really big, so I cut all the leaves, let it dry, and put it in a jar so I can use it as, you know, as spices. So there's different ways to, you know, to keep your fruit and vegetables.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we will share that brochure with you too. So you can plan for springtime, and maybe you'll start working on your own tomato garden too. So I realize we're running out of time here. We're going to wrap up at 7, but I'm thinking we have time for one more question, if that's okay. So one question that we had come in earlier said, I'm interested in learning more about research. What else, what does the university do? And I think maybe more the Masonic Cancer Center, that's where we come from.
Yeah, well, the Masonic Cancer Center, University of Minnesota, we have our research buildings and we have tours that we give to, you know, to adults and to high schoolers, middle schoolers, so they can tour the labs and they can show you what are these researchers are working on actually nowadays. And, you know, whether it's in like the vaping, you know, that this is one of the things that have happened lately, that a lot of these laws are, you know, cutting on these vaping because the kids are the one using it. In fact, I think I heard Woodbury just passed that, you know, that over 18 and the vaping for kids, they're not allowed, they can't buy it. So, you know, you can see the researchers working on that, working on the tobacco. There's different, Dr. Turisky has his own lab, so he can, you know, he talks about it, and his postdocs are there to show you the instruments they use to help them with the research. So it is very important, and you can call and oh, you can have them in videos now. I think we have a couple videos from some of the labs showing you what, you know, what they're doing in their labs. I'm not 100% sure if through COVID they're doing the tours, but I know that is available for the people in the community to come and see.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, Sylvette, the videos sound awesome. So I will check on that and keep you guys posted at one of our upcoming Thrive series as to any availability if you're interested in research. And it's 7 o'clock now. So I realize there's, you know, a handful of questions we weren't able to get to today, but just like we did last week, we will take these, we will work on them this week, and we will post them on the website under resources. So if you scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, it's z.umn.edu/Thrive series, and scroll to the bottom of the page, click on the View Winter 2021 series, and all of the recordings will be there and resources. So this recording will be available by the end of the week. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you, Sylvette. So good to see you. And we will see you guys next week, where we are going to talk about, we're going to have our cancer rehab team here. So we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. And we'll have some tips and little practices for cognition and physical activity challenges. So you'll get a lot of really great tips and tricks there. So we will see you guys next week, Tuesday, February 16th, 6 o'clock Central Time. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night.
Thank you. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Bye.